Hey guys, it's Godbars here, the self-proclaimed hip-hop historian, and this is the 341st episode of my series, where I grab a vinyl from my collection, talk about why I love it, what influence it has, and what its place is in the grand scheme of hip-hop. So somehow we're already back at another set of LPs from the 1990s, and I figured what better artist to kick it off with than close Wu-Tang affiliate Killah Priest and his seminal 1998 debut, Heavy Mental. This legendary MC was one of the many close friends and collaborators who may not have technically been on the main roster, but were still resident members of Wu-Tang Killa Bees, which for all intents and purposes was the name for all the affiliates that worked with the clan on a consistent basis. And outside of Killah Priest here, a couple of those contributors included Law the Dark Man and more recently Czarface. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, as you can find dozens upon dozens of singers, rappers, groups, DJs, and more that ultimately end up falling under this category. The thing with Heavy Mental here is, in my own personal ranking of Wu-related solo albums, I would put it above many of the projects from actual core Wu-Tang members, at least some of their work from the late 90s and early 2000s, like Capadonna's 1998 breakout LP, The Pillage, Inspector Deck's 1999 solo debut, Uncontrolled Substance, GZA's Beneath the Surface album from the same year, RZA's Digital Bullet from 2001, Ghostface Killah's Pretty Tony album, and Master Killah's solo debut, No Said Date, which both dropped in 2004. The interesting thing about Killah Priest is, despite not having the most instantly recognizable voice, he still doesn't really sound like any of the other MCs on the main roster, which is partially why he works so well as a featured artist, like with GZA's 1995 magnum opus Liquid Swords, where Priest actually has multiple classic guest appearances, or 1994's 6 Feet Deep, the debut album by Gravediggaz, which I believe was the first studio release that this affiliate ever contributed to, featuring on 2 separate tracks. You also have to commend how this man has stayed more active than the vast majority of Wu-Tang Clan, with dozens of projects from the 2010s going into the 2020s. But at the end of the day, he still kind of fits in the same category as many legendary MCs of his caliber and status, where the best work to his name came from the earlier days in his career. Although I can definitely recognize the progression he's made since then, as every time I do hear one of his more modern tracks, he's still laying down dense, thought-provoking verses. My personal favorite Killah Priest project would without a doubt be his breakout Heavy Mental LP here, but he didn't waste any time following up that cult classic, as it would be that same year in 1998 that his debut album with the group Sons of Man would drop, titled The Last Shall Be First. And he would keep the heavy workflow going into the next year when the crew dropped their sophomore record, The First Testament. After this, Killah Priest would return to his solo discography, blessing us with 2 more insanely underrated projects, in the form of 2000's View from Masada and 2001's Priesthood, before forming supergroups like Black Market Militia, which included Priest, Timbo King, Hellraiser, William Cooper, and Tragedy Gaddafi, or The Horsemen, which was a pretty ambitious mesh of MCs, including Killah Priest, Cannabis, Razkaz, and Corrupt of the Dog Pound. But if I actually sat here and listed out all the solo LPs, EPs, and mixtapes this legend has in his repertoire, this video would be a good hour or 2 long. There are definitely some bars worth sharing on Heavy Mental, and I figured I may as well use one of the first tracks as an example, that being One Step, which has a dope instrumental that actually utilizes the same sample that we would later hear Alchemist flip for the classic Dilated Peoples track Worst Comes to Worst. Except this iteration from Priest is much more grimy and understated, and it sets him up to deliver a poignant and passionate history lesson in the form of a song. Really, the content and the way he structures it in general is ridiculously ahead of its time, and it's almost guaranteed that certain references will fly over your head and require some amount of research to fully understand. He kicks off the thought-provoking first verse with the bars, "Early natives related to thrones of David, captured by some patriots and thrown on slave ships. They stripped us naked while their wives picked their favorite. Lives were wasted in the hands of the hated. Driven from the garden, now we're starving in the modern-day Sodom. They call it Harlem. Worldly problems got us at the bottom. The earth crisis had the righteous grab their ice picks, seeking psychics for advices. I stay in ciphers. Our life is connected to the second son of Isaac's, which had a tight grip. On the heels of his brother, revealed to his mother, the elder should serve the younger. Words heard in thunder, down from under, rose and fled to grow in hunger. Now it's cold in summer, the soldier slumbers. Behold a number, 606 and threescore, the same as Esau, who ate his meat raw. In the time before they climbed aboard a dinosaur, information held behind the doors. We came from the atmosphere, the physical trapped us here. Then they gave us crack and beer. In the back of the stairs, please adapt your ears, add or subtract the years, inform the unwise, and watch the sunrise. From sunset, none slept, one flesh, one breath. Surprisingly, for once we don't get any RZA production on this Wu-Tang affair, but there are numerous proteges of his who contribute instrumentals, including True Master, Y. Kim, Fourth Disciple, The Arabian Night, John the Baptist, and Killah Priest himself. As for the guest appearances, we get a mix of core members and wider affiliates, including Takitha, Hellraiser, Inspector Deck, Jizza, 60-Second Assassin, Fatherlord, Shanghai the Messenger, and Old Dirty Bastard. When it comes to my honorable mentions for heavy mental, I definitely have to shout out tracks like Fake MCs, Atoms to Atom, Blessed Are Those, Cross My Heart, Tai Chi, If You Don't Know, High Explosives, Wisdom, Bible, Mystic City, Science Project, Almost There, and The Professional. Then for my overall top 3, I think I would have to name my favorite songs as One Step, From Then Till Now, and Information. Thank you for watching my 341st video. Next time we are revisiting a Bay Area pioneer who hasn't been on the page in a minute. So tune in for that one, and if you enjoyed, be sure to like, subscribe, and let me know what your favorite tracks are off this intelligent, high-concept LP. Don't forget to have a great day, and I'll see you next time, okay? Alright.